This is your 2061st reminder to keep all personal items with you at all times. The plan can wait. Our lines will not. Good subjects arrive 15 minutes early to avoid losing their track.
Yeah.
Your patience is commendable, passenger. Please continue waiting quietly until the next tram arrives.
Looks like folks holed up here after the fighting started. Guess not everybody was eager to take sides.
Morale? Low. Condition? Feeble. Voucher mech. Watching. Always watching. Many have left for Matriarch's mercy, seeking refuge with the Order. The fools. Can't they see the Order is no different from the Protectorate? The Order won't...
Incessant muttering to oneself may disturb fellow passengers. Further conduct violations may warrant notification of the Sentinels.
Try it, you doddering rattletrap! Such threats compel me no longer. I now answer to no one. I've seen through the lies of both sides. In time, everyone will.
Unwarranted optimism may be a sign of a more serious
We got an appointment to
imbalance.
keep at Matriarch's
Please see
mercy.
a curativist
Let's just
before
hope we don't
boarding.
get shelled too.
You cannot possibly do the right thing today without knowing what will happen tomorrow. At the order of the Ascendant, we predict tomorrow so you can have it better.
Please, somebody help us! Anybody, please! Finally, some help. We desperately need aid. Desperately. My family and I, we was making our way to the mercy camp for us refugees. We were set upon. My wife, my son were injured. Can't move them by myself. I had to leave them just past this tunnel so as I could go for help. But being alone is even more riskier. The Varachnids, I chased them off, but they'll be back. Please help us. Ain't nothing I can do for them, but you got weapon and medicines and can get us to the camp. Please. I don't... Vary, by my guess. She was bit on the thigh, high, like, can see bone. Or maybe white means infected? She's screaming all the time when she's awake. Then she goes to sleep. She in agony. And my son ain't waked since the attack. Hurry, please. We must hurry or they'll be eaten. Or worse. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this way. This way.
Ready, boys! Commander, watch your fire!
You too can reach the pinnacle of refreshment with Omega Point Tea. Available in standard and recaffeinated versions. A taste this can only be formulated of nourishment is
Stranger, the Order bids you welcome, but also warnings. In light of the recent attack on Auntie's Choice, you may want to make haste to Matriarch's Mercy. It's just down the road here.
So it was one of our bases that got hit. Oh, I'm gonna be sick.
I can't rightly say, and that is rather concerning in its own right. It seems our temporary ceasefire with the corporatists may be at its end. The presiding bishop sent you. Then I'd advise making for it post-haste. You'll find safety there. The rest of this area, less so. The Order controls everything south of this point, but the rest is beset with various dangers. Zealots, scavengers, creatures, and corporatists. Well, not certain about that last one anymore, after the attack. Cultists, mad to the last one. I believe they worship the rifts or some such. People will turn to anything to ease their discomfort during times of crisis, I suppose. They're both unstable and violent. Auntie's forces call them scrappers, and uses them for just that, gathering scrap materials. Excessive abuse of stimulants has made them severely unbalanced and prone to violence. They've also been known to pose as refugees to lure their victims into ambushes. There are several camps of them northwest of here. I'd strongly advise keeping your distance. The creatures are of the genus Varachnid. They are large enough to kill a full-grown human, and exceedingly willing to do so.
All our efforts add to the equation.
I don't see anything else coming. Was it just the one?
Your compliance for the continued safety of yourself, family, and our friends is greatly appreciated.
Tomorrow's lecture on effective daily planning will be preempted by a 6-hour course in remedial differential geometry.
Refugees, looks like. And after that strike, there'll only be more at the gates.
Another refugee? All right. All right, step forward. Just a moment. Allowing anyone into Matriarch's Mercy unprocessed will upset the precarious ratio of refugees to aid. We should have an opportunity for placement in approximately 7.85 days, presuming no unforeseen alterations. Ah, I seem to recollect one matching your description set for arrival. Pardon my slowing your ingress. It has been rather hectic of late. Welcome to Matriarch's Mercy. Rule number 1, no crowding. Rule number 2, avoid the exclusion zone. Our seer has predicted non-specific imminent danger. I thought the name was self-explanatory. Our seer predicted that a corner of the encampment is in terrible danger. Danger from what? Or when? Unclear. Stay away from it, and, in all probability, you won't have to find out. Our predictions spring from the universal equation, the very numbers that guide the stars. Only a fool ignores probability, and we don't suffer fools around these parts. Not at present, but according to our predictions, the creation of a third rule is likely, if not inevitable. Safety and probability are incompatible. Eventually, nowhere will be safe, including here. That's enough questions. Keep the line moving. You need anything, talk to Seer Wiley. He's in the lift building, straight through the settlement.
Do you believe Arcadia shall ever return to how it was?
I wish. Between the invaders, I remember this place before the war. Functioning tramiculars. Peaceful silence of the canyons.
I can't recall the last time this region was silent.
I swear, it's nigh on impossible to find decent animal remains in these parts.
Thus, if we compare the rates of dust accumulation inside the settlement to outside, we gain minute insight into the grand plan. And then we solve for the... apologies. Just catching up on a research assignment between queries. Yes? Did you need something? Typically, no. And it has been somewhat challenging focusing my concentration. The abbot felt a scientician operating in a conspicuous spot in the thoroughfare might be useful. An illustrative way for our guests to see how we operate. to show how the Crabble patties are made, as it were. That is, if the meat preparation involved a 90-step rate formula and a conflux of polynomial equations. I am also on hand to answer queries by providing data supporting our actions. Though perhaps due to my central location, 89.74% of the time, I am simply asked for directions. They must be exceptionally pleased with the statistical jump correlated to residents within Matriarch's Mercy. Numbers here are pretty compelling. According to data, life inside shows a notable uptick in key relevant quality of life factors: longevity, access to medicine, potable water. Life outside sees increased risk of starvation, inclement weather, and hostile xenofauna. Yes, indeed. Numbers are really against you out there. We have diverted internal resources to better meet demand in key areas. And I'm pleased to say that's led to a statistically significant 2.7% increase in refugee satisfaction. But if my data remains unconvincing, I suggest you inquire with Provisioner Plotnik inside the lift building. Simply tell her Archivist Widmark approves brief use of her time. Then back to it I shall get.
My soup is nutritionally calculated to sustain all bodily functions, but it could use a little salt.
Oh, try not to get too close. My sinuses are stuffed up, my ears are backed up, and my guts are gurgling. I could burst at any moment. Every fluid from every orifice. So keep your distance. Don't want it, don't need it. I've gotten sick at least a dozen times since we set up camp. Why, last week alone, I caught hack lung, sprat tongue, skinny teeth, and a rare case of mortified skull emergence. Figured I might as well get used to being sick. So I'm practicing for my next disease. It's gonna be a nasty one. I think it's downright awful what's happened to these fine folks. But me especially. Sickness, malnutrition, spontaneous genetic disorders, it never ends. You too. Trust me, you don't want to catch this. Neither do I, for that matter.
Commander, you got a minute to talk? I got some thoughts on this situation with the refugees. The number of folks seeking refuge from the war is, well, it's beyond what I expected. And beyond what the Order is capable of handling, seems like. Andes may not be faring much better here, but we could at least find enough work for these folk to buy some food. It's a tough situation, that's all I'm saying. But if the Order can't even manage tens of folk at their doorstep, they ain't gonna manage much better should they win the war. I make a point of not leaving those slow on the uptake behind. I went through this myself when Andy's Choice took over Tau Ceti. It took time to secure the merger, but once they did, we folk got the help we needed real quick. And all they wanted in return was the signing of an employment contract. Now, I ain't seeing any contracts in Matriarch's Mercy. So what is the Order actually gaining by doing this? The thought has crossed my mind, though I reckon we might have seen concrete proof of that by now. Anyhow, if the Order is in fact helping these folk with no hidden aims, then, well, I'll be the first to admit that there might just be merit in what they're selling. Appreciate you hearing me out.
How long are we meant to stay here?
Ask the Order. I'm not in the prediction business.
Reminds me of Tau Ceti right after the merger. Had to wait for my number to be called just to get rations and a cot.
Calculating the position of every... Apologies, outsider. As a vicar, I am usually tasked with guiding non-order lay people, such as yourself. Lately, the abbot has tasked me with the education of the refugees in our care. You are, of course, free to stay to be enlightened by my lecture, but I don't need an abacus to predict your path lies elsewhere. Well, if it's in the displaced's best interests, I imagine I can find a moment. Yes, I reckon I do have my ear to the grimy dirt floor of Matriarch's Mercy. I hear what common lay people are saying, and the wide array of bodily noises they make. Suppose I, more than any other member of the Order here, connect with non-scienticians. I've begun daily lectures, including practical advice on efficiently planning their days. I frequently launch into extended orations on everyone's favorite topic, math, and meticulously expatiate on our sex origins in the most rigorously pedantic detail. As I'm sure you've read in recent dissertations doing the rounds, education has proven to have a 13.7% increase in overall quality of life. I am single-handedly making a difference here, with constructive pointers on efficient scheduling, lessons on order history, plus some mathematics for a little added razzle-dazzle. Perhaps some other time we can debate the theoretical complexities involved. Whew, but I fear I must get back to my duties. These laypersons won't enlighten themselves.
Where do we go now? Another refugee camp? Another colony?
I predict, with an 8.23 margin of error, that our situation will improve.
Broke my nose. I banged him up real good for you, didn't I? I won you one, right? Matters settled.
The void you did. Barely connected. You're thinking of 2-3 scraps ago. You've been mostly unconscious a while now. You ought to talk to Boss Tilda. She's the brains in this... What does she call it? Oh, yeah. Quasi-illicit shenanigan.
Doesn't like to look at us when we're all banged up. Said my face turned her off Borscht loaf.
Anyhow, head down the hill along the fence. Tell her Mapother and Mudge sent you.
Keep your lamps lit. Wherever there's trouble, there's always opportunists willing to profit from it.
Do me a kindness and mosey on.
You got business? No? Move on. You the fixer lent your aid to Agent Galloway? Don't suppose you got that crawling hibiscus she promised to sneak me, huh? Forget it. You can come in. Hello, hello. You're the one that aided us in availing Sub Rosa of a rather large shipment of Spectrum vodka, yes? Agent Galloway is slightly less trustful than most feral canids, so winning her over speaks volumes of your character. Consequently, I'm pleased to present you purchase access to my fine wares. It's fortunate you're no stranger to contraband. It's superb cover and a consistent market. Refugees are in need of all sorts of supplies that the Order cannot provide, and Sub Rosa delivers, at only a reasonable markup. Myself, I enjoy the thrills of the environ. Will the Order attempt to drive me out? Will Matriarch's mercy be shelled? Shall I run out of new cereals? Oh, thrilling! Agreed. You'd do well in Sub Rosa with that philosophy. Supposing you didn't get killed anyhow. We stand that we'd like to make a good ton of bits on the war. And maybe expand our reach in the process. Beyond that, I'm not supposed to comment. But Sub Rosa consists primarily of ex-Anti's Choice and ex-Protectorate personnel. We've still got folks we care about out there. Complicates some of our feelings on the fighting. But if the fighting stops, our income begins to go dry. Feast thine eyes on the merchandise!
Greetings. What can I help you with? Let me guess. One of your co-occupants is always hanging up his or her britches in your corner of the yurt. Am I right? Or you're dealing with more of a stay off my palate or that's my air you're breathing sort of thing. Hmm? Pray elucidate the exact nature of your tiff of contention. Oh, really? Like they strung a few words together in a row and it all made sense? That's a marked improvement on earlier. Guessing they left out a bunch, though. Here in Matriarch's Mercy, if you're not a member of the Order, you're probably living close to somebody else. In some cases, sleeping on top of them. Sort of thing tends to cause friction between neighbors. Would lead to fights, but nobody here wants trouble with the Order. So they hire our hooligans to battle by proxy. Half the time, people shy away at the first sight of blood. The other, that's what they're there for. We say, whoever wins the fight wins the argument. But frankly, it's never anything of consequence, like, okay, hurrah! This guy gets back his mangy button. Now, how can I help you exactly? Ugh, a tourist. Well, clear out then, huh? Can't have you scaring off real customers. I got a bunch of yeggs, 2 pugilized pugilists, and a cicanid to feed.
Look, Your nose was just a stand-in for Duarte's nose.
Don't feel like I'm standing.
Welcome. Have you come to bask in the Order's knowledge?
Shame what happened there. I seen the whole thing. Watch yourself if you intend to nose around that collapsed ramshackle. I swear, refugee settlements aren't what they used to be. Yes, technically a hut is meant to be only one story. Because when you stack them, they tend to fall over. Happens a lot. People here need more room to breathe. Can't build in the walkways, can't set up in the exclusion zone, so they build up. Best they can, at least. Don't have proper building material or nothing. They just make do. After a while, the stacked up little huts they jury-rigged come tumbling down. Oh, you put that together, did you? Here, I thought I was being subtle. Yeah, people keep at it. What else choice they have? Order won't listen. Maybe if we interspersed our requests with numbers, they'd pay attention. Seems like all they care about sometimes. They're doing something, which is better than nothing, but not by much.
The Order advocates for no less than 6 hours of uninterrupted rumination on the universal equation per day.
Friends, neighbors, while you shelter in Matriarch's mercy.
What happened to this place? Law. Matriarch's mercy is no safer than the trenches.
Look on the bright side. I predict that the worst is behind us.
A visitor. Without notice. Hello. You weren't mentioned in my latest personalized order projection. I mean, prediction. Granted, I mostly skim the parts what don't cover probabilistic dangers, so perhaps you were alluded to in some, roundabout fashion. Suppose that means you're not a threat. So that's good, right? Yeah, I reckon that's good. I'll say, I try not to make any big plans until I consult my latest POP. First time I got a POP, it was on a lark. It said, Rollo Nast, our seer has predicted you must wear a helmet today. I borrowed one. As a laugh, everybody ribbed me about it. Just after lunch, wind picked up on the cliff above and dropped a mock apple 152 meters straight down onto my head. Fortunately, I still had that brain case on. I mean, if you want an exact estimate or percentage, talk to them. As for me, I just got that, what do you call it? Anecdotal feedback. A few times, I couldn't make heads or tail of half of it. Like, avoid anything representing whole numbers? I didn't know what to do about that. So I just stayed put. End of the day, I'm still here, and my co-occupant Ike isn't. So, I guess them prognostications work well enough. Sure, but I've had 9 POPs so far, and at least 3 times something similar happened. Avoided drowning in a culvert, sidestepped my mantisaur allergy. Forget the other. Things like that just illustrate the fragile nature of human existence, especially here in Golden Ridge. My co-occupant Ike had a POP done. I told him avoid liquids for 48 hours. He ignored it. Later got drunk, passed out, drowned face first in a puddle of water. You did catch the part I said they'd save my life, right? I think alive is a notable improvement on dead. That's something you can take to the bank, you know? Figuratively speaking. I don't know why the other displaced have been so slow to take to them. But I'm not complaining too loud. Waited for my latest POPs long enough already.
We're not going anywhere! Not on the basis of some half-baked prediction. This so-called exclusion zone
I've got your
is
new
where
role.
we stake
Keep
our
moving.
claim. Stand with me in defense of freedom!
Except for the fact that you ain't yelling and trying to eat me. I'd have pegged you as some sort of prosperous scrapper by the rough look you got about you. You do got a certain feral look in your eye, though. Okay. I give up. Tell me. May Huffstutler, formerly Auntie's Choice, Department of Invasive Marketing. Now, the voice of the displaced. That's what those in the Order call me, leastways. An unofficial sobriquet, likely meant as a petulant slight. On account I object. Louder. More often than the rest. Those of us ended up here have very little except needs. I turn those into demands for reasons of clarity and import. I was once considered quite the up-and-comer in the Department of Invasive Marketing. Looked down on all the bottom rungers and have-nots. Then I came here and became one. Happy as I am to make your acquaintance, I'm busy staking our claim over the exclusion zone, so if you'll excuse me. The exclusion zone. The Order has decided to keep us out thanks to some nebulous prediction of disaster. Screw their predictions. We have people, displaced by war and disaster, in sore need of space. There's plenty of room to house them. Chance of life-threatening peril from a yet-to-be-determined catastrophe were the administrant's words. Not what I would call specific. I honestly don't give the slightest whit about the Order's idea of math or whatever calculation tells them that a catastrophe may or may not occur. I couldn't get anywhere with Administrant Agarwal, but maybe you'll have better luck. Even the Order, for all of their logical ways, value an outside perspective. And because I've run out of options. I got a pretty fancy gun I was issued back when I was a rising star at Antes. Side with us, and it's yours. Even throw in a healthy amount of bits for your troubles. Thanks, stranger. Maybe fate's on our side for a change. You can find Agarwal in the lift building. Probably formulating another equation to get on my nerves.
Where do we go now? Another refugee camp? Another colony?
The grand plan is the predetermined order to the entire that our situation to a decent.
Stop me with the predictions. You don't even know multivariable calculus.
Trying to cheer you up.
1,068.5 pardons, but my attention is presently 99.81% occupied, coordinating provisions and supplies for the displaced. Well, if the Archivist said so, I suppose I can factor out a moment. As the assigned provisioner, I am responsible for coordinating the requisition and distribution of comestibles, medicinals, and miscellaneous vital supplies. The overwhelming majority of my time is dedicated to this, leaving only moments to see to the Order's needs in the settlement. But it is an effort I undertake with great relish. You may not have noticed, but the refugees do not want for food or medicine. With the great disruption that has occurred to their lives, one can hardly blame them. That they are fed and remain healthy is sufficient for me. The Order of the Ascendant is dedicated to the ascension of humanity. Our ultimate goal may not be reached in our lifetime. If I can help others in need today, I shall do so to the utmost extent of my abilities and resources. Appreciate you respecting my time.
What is it? I have 15 seconds of allotted time for non-specific discourse, so choose your words with expediency. Oh, don't tell me. You're here on behalf of the voice of the displaced, aren't you? Oh, May, is it? You're on a first-name basis already? This is about the exclusion zone, correct? Fair enough. The exclusion zone is a mere corner of Matriarch's mercy, and rightfully off-limits. You see, the Seer predicted that a calamity would befall the exclusion zone, warning that the barrier must not be crossed. But the ever-disruptive voice of the displaced is dead set on occupying the exclusion zone anyway, laughing in the face of certain peril. Tell me, which of us has the title of administrant before their name? The responsibility is mine, as are the consequences. The Seer has augured death for anyone who enters the exclusion zone. Yes, you heard me right. Death. Furthermore, and I quote, an outside mediator, having earned the confidence of both sides, has a high likelihood of clearing up an ongoing dispute. And now the voice has involved you. How auspicious. Perhaps you are the outside mediator who was foretold. I believe only in the cold, inconvenient mathematics of the cosmos. This will work. It must work. The first step is to familiarize yourself with every angle of the dispute. Talk to the people of Matriarch's Mercy. The displaced want the exclusion zone. We want it kept off limits. We can't both be right. With your seasoned perspective, perhaps the voice of the displaced will learn to listen. Any questions before you get started? I can tell you she's a rabble-rouser of the highest order. Still, she cleaves to her principles. That's something. You can find her outside, among her people, stubbornly defying an order barricade. But you already knew that. Novice Seer Vicarage should have ample time to illuminate you on the Order's forecast modeling methods. He's just down the room from here. According to predictions, yes. Or at least, my interpretation of them. I am reasonably certain. More than usual, in fact. Many people around camp support or object to our methods. Speak to them, form your own opinion, and when you are ready, we will decide the fate of the exclusion zone. Scienticians around the settlement inform me you've made some inquiries. Good, good. Continue poking around further, though. You must earn both sides' trust, you know. Have you spoken to all representatives of the Order? All of the displaced? The Doctor? The questionable types from Sub Rosa? Investigated the containers? If not, do. Well then, if you need me in the meantime, I'll be here, up to my ocular organs and requests. Besides what I've already told you, to put it gently, disorganized, which is irregular for a group that prides itself on mathematical acumen. But with effort, patience, and collaboration, I am confident that Matriarch's Mercy will soon be a haven for the displaced. Good. Check in with me once you've made significant progress. As with probability, there is an art to mediation, and it requires a well-rounded perspective.
By the law. It's you. Oh, thank the architect you're finally here. I've scarcely breathed while hoping you'd come. I am in desperate need of your help. True, but the Order's predictions know you better than you know yourself. As a doctor, I'm appalled. We don't have enough beds or private quarters to separate people, so sickness is blazing an unhappy trail through the refugees. Of course, the Order keeps us well supplied with meds, but things will get worse as long as we're overcrowded. Yes, I can treat sickness as it arises. It would be leagues better to prevent it entirely. That means space to spread out. Since you asked, you can run this medicine to Horst Lambing. Just don't shake the man's hand. He has a habit of coughing into his palm when he covers it at all. You see, the Seers are members of the Order who labor over the universal equation. Even in its unfinished state, the equation gives them the means to predict the future. Recently, I had a rare opportunity to ask the Seer for guidance. He told me that a dashing outsider would answer my prayers. I feared the prediction was a fluke, but here you are. A dashing outsider standing before me. Strictly speaking, it isn't. Not yet. But the math is very, very, very good at predicting what is probably most likely extremely possible. In theory. Within a margin of error. Anyway, that is the Seer's business. My business is the health and welfare of this camp. Where to begin? There are so many sick and wounded in Matriarch's Mercy, and I have but 2 imperfect hands. I am but a humble general practitioner. What I really need are specialists, and the Seer predicted an outsider would find them.
Might have time to patch up 1 or 2 patients before we head out. I used to be a combat medic. A good one, too.
You also strike me as someone on the go. I need committed medical employees, not a freelancer. The seer gave me a datapad with explicit instructions that I not read it, for my intervention could only throw probability into disarray. Now, take the datapad, with my thanks. How can I be of service? Since you aren't a refugee, I hope you understand that I cannot offer my goods free of charge, but my prices are fair.
long are we meant to stay here?
That's the
Ugh. You ever cough so hard your ankles hurt? I'll try not to sneeze on you, but no promises. Law, finally. Real relief for my fake symptoms.
Let's see it then.
If it's all the same, I'll give it to someone in real need. I've got more practice ahead of me. Wouldn't want to spoil it by seeking treatment. You have my gratitude, stranger.
What happened to this place? Law.